Hey guys, Dissection of Violence here. Another great UFC for us today. UFC 301. Let's start off at the bottom. We got Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borjas. A really good fight. Um, we got Alessandro Costa here, a very dangerous striker. Comes with power. I would say he's a hybrid, more so than a striker. He has good grappling as well. Kevin Borjas, primarily a striker. Um, He trains out of a pretty good gym in Peru. They work get ups. Well, their fundamental jiu-jitsu is pretty low, but I'd say Kevin Borjas is one of the better ones. Um, I'm gonna go with Kevin Borjas simply with the fact that he's just shown more promise than a lot of his Peruvian counterparts. And Alessandro Costa has shown to be tough. Has shown to be he's now experienced. Faced Erceg. Um, who else does he face? He's faced some pretty good guys. Honestly, I could give this fight to him on a purely paper. Like he looks like he should be able to win this, but he's only really beat Jimmy Flick. He's looked good in his losses, I guess, but he got KO'd by Albazi, which isn't a great look in hindsight when especially fighting someone as dangerous as Kevin Borjas, who's really long and rangy. I think Borjas is gonna pick apart Costa. Um, But this is just my lean right now. Honestly, this is a very close fight, so I could see this going either way. But I'm gonna lean on the Borjas side. I think he is um, a little more technical on the feet, and I think he's gonna catch Costa, potentially getting him out of there. I'm gonna go with Borjas by TKO. Moving on, we got Ismail Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. I really like this fight. Vince Pichel is a really good fighter. The problem is he's 41 years old. Um, Honestly, I don't see this going very well for him. I think Ishmael Bonfim is very dangerous. 19-4, talented boxer. He mixes in the kicks, sometimes the takedowns as well, but for the most part, he just likes to stay on the feet. And I think he's gonna find a KO here. I got to go with Bonfim by KO. I just think Bonfim is a little bit more dangerous, and if he doesn't take Pichel to a decision to get a win there, I think Pichel is gonna struggle with the power, the elusiveness, and the versatility of Bonfim. I think Pichel is 41, past his prime, and I think he's been off for like how long has Pichel been off now? Like, let me see. Vince Pichel has been off for 2 years. So you gotta just assume that he's gonna come back rusty and slow. I gotta go with Pichel here. This is a pretty big squash match. But yeah, you never know with MMA. Maybe we see a Vince Pichel performance. I highly doubt it though. Moving on, we got Dione Barbosa versus um, Ernesta Kareckaite. Honestly, I was torn on this fight. I was leaning Karakate just for her striking ability and her cardio, but the more I think about it, the more I see Barboza finding a submission, a takedown. Her experience is very good compared to Ernesta, who hasn't had the greatest of experience, and she's lost to Jenna Bishop, who's another great grappler. Um, she lost to Josiane Nunes. So there is a reason to take Ernesto Karakate, but I'm gonna go with the fact that Dione Barbosa has a very solid grappling base. I would never take the position negative 200, but I definitely think, even though that's what I would line her, I would probably go to props here. Take the submission props plus 200. Yeah, this is her most back to victory, and a win over Korean Silva is aging really well. So I'm gonna lean Diana Barbosa here, but honestly, this could look sketchy as the fight goes on. So be ready to arbitrage. I'm thinking about taking Ernest alive or to start, and then playing Barbosa as the fight goes on. But we'll see. We'll see. Honestly, I see this being a slow start for Barbosa, but her finding her range and her takedowns throughout the fight. I think this is going to be Diana Barbosa round 2, round 3 submission. We'll see what happens. Moving on, we have Mauricio Ruffy versus uh, Jamie Mullarkey. Jamie Mullarkey, his chin is just too washed for my liking. I can't trust him. You don't get TKO'd in the first round by what's his name? Uh, man, I can't. Harak, Narat, Narat, Nasrat Hakparas. Like I can't believe he got knocked out by him so easily. Honestly, I can't trust him. Ruffy is big, dangerous. He looked good against a guy who beat Impa Kasangane. I just really trust Mauricio Ruffy here. He's fighting in his home. Um, I just don't think Mauricio Ruffy. I don't think Mauricio Ruffy is gonna have too much of a problem with Mullarkey. I think Mullarkey is a better equipped for 15 minutes, but his chin isn't. So if that makes sense, I think he's very, very skilled at winning decisions, but I don't think he's gonna out damage Ruffy. I think Ruffy mixes in high, low. I think he is dangerous when he's on top as well. So I'm gonna go with Mauricio Ruffy here. He tried at the Fighting Nerds, which is a gym I rate very highly. I got to go with Ruffy here by first or second round TKO. This is gonna be an interesting one. Moving on, we have Jaquim Silva taking on Drakkar Klose. I love this matchup. Um, Drakkar Klose, not a young chicken, but he's not old by any means. He's how old is Drakkar Klose? 36. I guess he's getting up there, but he's still it's like around a year or two before his prime's over. I think honestly he's a I honestly I think he's dangerous. He's serviceable. He does the right things to win. Um, I'm torn here. This is a really hard one. I'm on the fence with this one for now. Jaquim Silva is a very, very dangerous guy. Hits hard. Looked good against Armin Soyuki in a moment. It was short notice, so I gotta go with Drakkar Klose just for the simple fact that he's looked pretty good as of late. And Jaquim Silva is, he's 35, which isn't too bad, but honestly, I just it's a hard one, man. I'm torn. I lean Jakar close, but honestly, it's no other reason that he's just more dependable. Um, but it's a close fight. Honestly, I can't make heads or tails of this one. I wouldn't bet this one. Moving on, we have William Gomez versus Gene Silva. Gene Silva, he's a very, very dangerous guy. He barks at you. He comes forward. He's aggressive. He's a marauder. He's gonna break you. He's a pressure guy. In the later rounds, he could cause William Gomez problems, but I just think the sniper in Gomez is going to cause Silva problems by picking him a range from distance. I think Gomez is going to be too sharp, too fast, too light on his feet, and Silva is going to be plodding forward, looking for big, big shots, big and takedown. Where Gomez is pretty skilled. These French guys are pretty skilled at their takedown defense. Once he's taken down, it's going to be a sweat city, but I think Gomez will do the right thing, stay on the feet, and survive a 15-minute affair with John Silva. Again, that Francis Marshall potential loss literally it keeps me up at night with this, but I do think Gomez is a value side right now. Close fight though. There's a lot of close fights on this card, but it makes for a great card. So I'm gonna go William Gomez by decision. But honestly, this could get dicey. So be ready to arm out. Moving on, we have Maitabek Orolbai versus Elvis Brener. Elvis Brener, he's a very, very dangerous fighter. He comes forward. He's a demon. One of those guys that is just gonna be there. He's gonna have dead eyes. You're gonna not be able to see this. Like man, this guy's an actual problem. He could somehow beat Orolbai by breaking him somehow in 3 rounds, but I just don't see it. His should have been lost to I can't even say his last name, Zubair or he should have lost his fight to Zubair Tukhugov, and he won. And then his last two fights have been finishes, but uh, you know, his best win was Guram Kataladze, so and that was primarily striking. So I got to go with Orolbai being a wet blanket and just being too much on top. Picking him apart, potentially finding a submission, maybe even finding a KO. I don't see it though. I think Orolbai is just gonna suffocate him with his grappling. I think he's gonna be too much on top, and I got to go with Orolbai by decision. Not gonna be a too exciting of a win, but to win nonetheless, and someone you want to watch out for in this division is Orolbai. He's a very, very well-rounded, dangerous guy. He looks like someone you'd find in a cave, long like in like the BC times. Like this guy is a very, very dangerous man, and I rate him very highly. So, but yeah, I can understand why people would be taking Brener. He's looked great lately, but I feel like this is going to be a different level he's faced as far as the grappling. Yeah. Moving on. We have Yasmin Lucindo versus Karina Kowalkiewicz. Now I love Karina. She's beautiful. She's a great veteran. She's done a lot for the sport. But the problem is she's fighting Yasmin Lucinda, and Yasmin Lucinda is a talented upstart who's fighting at home, who is hits like a truck, who has nice sharp hands, who has really good footwork, good elusive head movement. I really rate her skills. She has good jiu-jitsu as well. I think she's just going to overwhelm Carolina with her skills. I think she's going to make Carolina look slow at 38. I think Yasmin Lucinda is going to just pick her apart for a unanimous decision, potentially getting a KO. But I see Yasmin Lucinda just being too much on the feet for Carolina and just outpointing her to a dominant decision. Carolina is could make this sticky with her clinch. I saw that can screw up a young Brazilian who likes to stay at her range, likes to play her game, and does. But I just think the masculine vibes that you get from Lucinda will help her here and in the strength category. And I think she'll just outmuscle Carolina in those grappling positions and push her up against the fence and disengage. So I'm gonna go with Yasmin Lucinda here. But definitely a fight you don't want to put too much money on. But I do think Lucinda takes this. Moving on, we got Jack Shore taking on Johannesson Brito. So this is another great fight. We have Brito, who's as physical as it gets, powerful as it gets, kicks like a truck, has nasty submissions. The problem here with Brito isn't exactly his skills. It's his cardio and not and his work rate. He can sometimes let someone else dictate the fight with a good wrestling game plan. But the thing with Jack Shore is he's coming up a weight class, and I know he's already fought at this weight class against Makwan and Amir Khani, but Joanne Brito and Makwan and Amir Khan is a big step up in competition, and I just think his losing by submission to Ricky Simone is a clear indicator that someone as high levels of grappling as Brito can find the sub too. I think I'm going to go with Joanna Brito by submission. I think he's beatable. I think Shore has a good grappling base and could be a wet blanket for 3 rounds, but I just think Brito is going to be too dangerous everywhere the fight goes, and I think he's going to land the better shots and find his submission. I don't think it'll be early. I think he'll get a submission in the second or third round, but we'll see. Honestly, it isn't a not close fight, but I do think Brito should take it here. It's a pretty straightforward affair. Um, yeah, I like Brito here. I think he wins this with ease. Obviously, it's gonna get sticky if it's a grappling affair by Jack. But if Jack doesn't grapple for whatever reason, this is gonna be pretty easy, in my opinion. Moving on, we have uh, Paul Craig versus Kyle Borralho. Yeah, man, I like Kyle. Kyle's a savage. He trains hard. He has a really good fight IQ. That's his best attribute, in my opinion. I think he's just going to be too smart for Paul Craig. His stupid pull guard tactics. He's going to try to put a pace on Kyle, but Kyle has really good distance management. I think he's going to sharpshoot him. I think he's going to find Paul Craig early and going to get a TKO win. I gotta go with Kyle, man. He has such good wins. He's so talented. He is well-rounded. He's the future. I gotta go with Kyle Borralho here. People think there's a time to fade him, and it's not gonna be this fight. I think Paul Craig is gonna be retiring here soon, and I think Kyle Borralho is gonna send him along his way. I like Kyle here by TKO in the first round. Yeah, I don't see this. I don't see this really being much of a challenge for Borralho. I think Borralho is going to be too quick for him, and I think Craig is just too much of a one trick pony for Borralho. So easy win for Borralho. Moving on, we got Michel Pereira versus Ihor Poteiria. I like Michel Pereira here. I think he's going to be too sharp for Ihor. I think these welterweights are, very skilled, and I think he's going to be fast, sharp, and I think Ihor is very soft to the body. I see a TKO finish to a body shots from Michel Pereira. If not, he'll find a submission like he did last fight. Honestly, Ehor, although he's improving and he's done some work at Extreme Couture has worked with Ehor, and I'm sure they know his game plans, his skill set. I'm sure they've told Michelle Pereira a bunch of info, or Michelle's seen it in the gym. I just think this is a pretty much of a squash match. I think Michelle Pereira is going to run right through him, a TKO in the first or second. I don't see this being fairly close. You never know though. Ehor has improved, but I got to go with Michel Pereira here, just being the much more skilled fighter. But yeah, let's move on with it. We got Vitor Petrino versus Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith, you gotta love Anthony Smith. He takes these hard fights that not a lot of people want to take. 11-0 Vitor Petrino. I think Petrino's gonna TKO him. I think he's gonna be too dangerous on the feet. He has good wrestling. I think he's a complete nightmare matchup for Smith. Smith is very savvy. He's a veteran. He has good jiu-jitsu. He's fairly tough, but I don't think his chin's all there anymore. And I think Roundtree sent it to a different dimension. I think Vitor Petrino just as hard as Roundtree, and he's very explosive. I think Vitor Petrino can find the chin, and get a TKO win. If not, I think he can just out grapple him for 3 rounds to a dominant decision. I like me some Vitor Petrino here. I think it's a pretty safe spot. Moving on, we have Jose Aldo. Oh, actually, no, one more thing. I think Vitor Petrino wins rounds 1 or 2 TKO. I think Anthony Smith survives for a little bit and then gets TKO'd. Moving on, we have Jose Aldo versus Jonathan Martinez. Gotta take me some Jose Aldo, man. I just can't trust Jonathan Martinez at negative 150 or negative 160. I think Aldo's definitely should be the side in Rio. Like this is like a storybook ending for Aldo fighting a striker with a long frame to work the body. I think Jose Aldo can deal with the leg kicks. I think he can. I think he's just going to be too much on the feet for Jonathan Martinez. I think he's going to have good takedown defense if Jonathan Martinez even tries to do anything with his clinch. I like Jose Aldo a lot here. I think Jose Aldo knows the stakes. I think Aldo knows what he needs to do to win. I think Aldo, coming from boxing, and means his hands are going to be sharper. And I think with Jonathan Martinez's lack of defense, I think Aldo can find a liver shot TKO. I think he can win this fight. I really like Jose Aldo here. I think Jose Aldo can win by decision as well, just by the judges. But honestly, Martinez is a good fighter, so I wouldn't be shocked to see him win. But I do think Aldo's going to win this fight. I would line Aldo negative 200. So yeah, let's go Aldo. Let's have a storybook ending. Moving on. The main event, we have Steve Erceg taking on Alexandre Pantoja. So Pantoja's he's a veteran. He knows how to win. He knows how to hustle. He knows how to work. Erceg's still pretty green. This is a hard fight to call like accurately. I do think Erceg is the side value wise. I think stylistically he wins this fight. Honestly, I gotta pick Erceg because Erceg is very, very dangerous on the feet. He's a very good grappler. He's been doing work with Craig Jones. I think he's just going to be too much for Pantoja, and I think he's going to win at least 3 rounds. Um, Potentially even finding a TKO. I do think Pantoja has what it takes to win, though, with another grappling heavy style. But I don't know. He doesn't really do much with his grappling heavy style. against these guys like Royval and Moreno, and I think Steve Erceg is just as good. So I'm gonna go with Erceg. I gotta go with the aura. I think they're gonna give it to Erceg in a close decision. Even though they're in Brazil, I think Erceg has that aura about him, like DDP in Canada. I gotta go with Erceg, man. Uh, Honestly, I could be crazy. I could be completely delusional, and I could look stupid in hindsight. But I'm willing to take a shot on this kid. He's very talented, and I think Steve Erceg wins this fight. I'm gonna go with dominant, a unanimous decision, or he wins by TKO. But yeah, guys, I'll give you guys my top five picks for UFC 301. Number one being Kyle Borralho. I feel like he's gonna win with ease. Number two, Michel Pereira. Number three, Vitor Petrino. Number five, Gabriel or Ismail Bonfim. And yeah, I think that's a solid five. I would parlay that. Rarely do I ever say this. I am so confident with this card. Hope you guys cash with me. Let's cash some tickets, guys. Yeah. I'm not gonna try to speak any Brazilian. All I'm gonna say is Tudo bem and hey, hey, and let's get this event started already. I'm freaking already have my picanha steaks cooking. I'm ready. Let's go, boys. UFC 301. Let's go.